All right, guys. This is Mean Tweets, Power Driven Diesel. We're not on Twitter, but I've seen some of those mean tweet videos where the celebrities read the mean tweets. We've got some pretty hilarious comments from this latest video of your blow up over there, Josh. We've had a good time laughing at some of these things, and some of them, maybe they're true. So we're going to go through this and read some comments and get our take on some of this stuff. So this is after hours. We're just kind of here sitting kind of informal. We have microphones. We'll be passing them around. Sorry if the audio quality is not perfect. That's what you didn't get in this video.
It's after hours.
After hours.
Quantity over quality, I guess.
Quantity over quality. That's right for this one. So recently, Josh had quite an awesome explosion. Josh, what happened?
Cylinder 5 let go on the engine when we were on the dyno, and it really stuck. It was...
It's bad.
It was rough. It was pretty rough, not gonna lie. My heart really sank on that one.
It did.
Slowly catching up to you. Not quite there yet, but
I have blown some stuff up. I've earned my stripes. Yeah. And you're earning yours pretty quickly, I'm not gonna lie. So we made a video of this. You should, if you haven't seen it, you should. It's awesome. Nothing was hidden. We were very, very candid about what happened, what we think happened, about the blow up. And yeah, a lot of the comments have been pretty positive. Guys who race, guys who have knowledge of racing. They're like, yep, that happens. It sucks. Then we have some other comments for some real knowledgeable people who really know what's going.
Knowledgeable.
Who really helped us out. I feel like I've really been informed a lot.
You've been uplifted and educated.
I feel good about things. They're really, good. So we're going to read some of those. And yeah, we're going to have a little bit of fun with this. So here we go. Comment number 1.
All right, this was from Owen Bearden. So much smoke. Why? I see powerful trucks in the dyno not making near as much smoke, and it clears up when the turbo spools. Josh, you got this one.
are they on top of a mountain? With 98, I mean, that was probably the hottest day I think all summer. Like, it was over 100 degrees.
You said 1,200.
Not quite over 100. It was like upper 90s, but it was 12,000
12,000. It was like 12,460 something feet. I rounded to 12,500.
If you don't speak air density, that means the equivalent air quality that you'd have at 12,500 feet at standard conditions, which is generally, 70 degrees Fahrenheit or so. Edwin Stores. I missed that fire when young. Keep on. Oh, keep on keeping on, Josh. Be looking for 2,000 horsepower.
That's nice. Dude,
yeah, there's a lot of positivity too. And we haven't given up. We're going back with a new platform, and we're going to hit that number.
Oh, I got another. Yeah.
The second one from Edwin.
This one's from Zachary McCoy. This is one day. He goes, every car, look at all this smoke. Gail Banks would have a heart attack. This is what happens when retards build diesel engines. Blow smoke equals blown motor. Man, that's true.
Yeah.
I mean, think about like Dan Scheid. What a moron. Think about like Hart's diesel.
Or any Hazley engine.
Hazley. What do you guys know? Nothing.
Freaking idiot.
Gail Banks is having heart attacks. And all this stuff, all the smoke blowing things out there, they all blow up. All of them.
Yeah. I mean, you look at like UCC trucks. I mean, all of those trucks, they just spontaneously blow up on the dyno. And just billowing smoke.
Yep.
Rocky Top diesel shootout happened the same weekend we blew up, and those trucks were pluming out quite a bit. Setting records, though.
Setting records.
Yeah.
All right, next comment. This is from Madman Marine. Look like You need some grammar lessons. Looks like, but look like.
It's a YouTube comment. You can't give grammar.
Oh, and
Come on,
two,
let it go.
he missed a 0 on 2. But anyways, let's just leave that there. Look like too tight a ring gap for it to have just about pulled the wrist pin bore apart. Bro, 42 thousandths top ring gap. What's Cummins spec, Josh, for that bore size?
19 is the highest.
So 19 thousandths is spec, and you were at 42 thousandths. Maybe you didn't have all the information, but I promise you the top ring gap was not too tight on those pistons. All right, one more, a good one here. This is from Chris Quigley. He says 10 out of 10 full send. Good job, buddy.
Thanks.
See, somebody actually watched the whole video because that was at the end. Rate it on a scale of 1 to 10.
Wow, I didn't think anyone watched that.
All right,
Sorry.
I got 2 in a row here. This is amazing. So this one's Alistair B. Gail Banks would tell them their tune was bad. Tons of smoke, too much fuel with not enough air, and they didn't have airflow through the intercooler.
Dude, we had a garden hose on
Rookie
the intercooler.
mistake.
So let's just break this down. We have a 2017 ECM, 2017 electronics going against a system that was designed in 2004. We don't
This
have
is Gail Banks LP5, right? You're
Yes.
talking about. So
yeah,
look
so
at a lot of the
killing the
1,000.
Duramax. It has a mass airflow sensor. It has one of the most sophisticated engine computers in existence. I mean, it took them 2 years to even figure out how to unlock it against a system that came out in 2004. So there's a big difference there. We're also not using 100% overs and a single stroker pump. We're using huge Dynamite diesel supermentals, two
Big.
of their pumps, modified rail,
What are
modified
those?
tubes.
Can you say the percent? I mean, what are they? They're about 8 times bigger than what Gail's.
Yeah,
running?
they're like 7. They're just under, or sorry, just over 700%, and they're a 7-hole. They are spicy.
Are you trying to go for more than 1,000 crank horsepower?
That was the goal. It was a
Interesting.
quest for
I don't know why
2,000.
anybody would do that, honestly. Weird. Okay, next, wait. The very next comment. This is smoke means bad tuning. You can't just dump fuel for more power. Why literally dump raw fuel out of the exhaust? It's not doing anything for you. Go watch Banks pushing stock innards of a Duramax to 1K horsepower. His crap doesn't smoke like some inefficient piece of crap. Thanks, Tony Mello. Tony Mello. All right, so there's definitely some interest in that Gail Banks.
That was edited for language. There
Yes.
was a swear word in there, but we edited it.
So let's talk real quick about the 1,000 horsepower Gail Banks engine. It's great. I have no problem with it. But remember, people, he's in 1,000 horsepower on an engine dyno. So that would make about what power on a chassis dyno?
800 horsepower.
20% is pretty common. So we gave away an 850 horsepower truck just the other day. Pretty easy to make that.
And what was that, a 1996?
1996.
And that whole truck had less money in it than a bone stock, than that engine, that crate engine that Gail started with.
For sure. So Josh's blew up at 1,200 horsepower. No, 1,300. So we calculate that's like Gail Banks making 1,600 horsepower in his dyno. So if Josh's engine was on Gail Banks' dyno, it would have done over 1,600 horsepower, apples to apples with Gail Banks' engine. And then people are like, oh, well, you blew up at 1,600 horsepower. So just remember, when you're comparing Gail Banks' crank horsepower to a chassis dyno, very different. Again, Gail Banks hasn't called us out or anything. This is all the people who follow Gail Banks. I have no problem with him and the stuff he's doing. More power to him. But it's really not a fair comparison, even though the comments are fun. All right, next one. Go ahead.
This goes out, shout out to our the guy behind the camera. Crap background music. Junked another video. He gave you a thumbs down and a poo-poo emoji. Is that how you call it? Emoji.
You have one job, Eric.
One job.
You had one job, and there was one negative comment.
Jeez, out of
So
like
next time,
170,
take the music out, and you'll get 10 comments saying you need to add music. You suck. Can't please them all.
You can't.
Probably should have talked to Banks. He knows a lot. Thank you. Cooling is usually the biggest problem with what you were doing. All right, Josh, let's talk about how you overheated your engine on that run.
Yeah, it got really hot. I think the coolant temp hit like 194 on a 192 thermostat.
That's
and the EGTs
offensive.
were like 1,250 degrees.
So like towing.
Yeah, I mean,
Wait. I have a bone stock 2008 Cummins, so it's newer technology. I towed up the mountain the other day. Stock exhaust gas temp, 1,426 degrees. Coolant temp hit about 220 pulling that grade, maybe even 225. So My factory stock engine ran that hot, towing a factory load, kind of.
Well, all I have to say is that you're lucky you still have 6 cylinders.
Yeah, especially because you let me tow with your truck to stress test it for you. I think we saw like 1,600 when I called you. I was like, hey, I think this thing's regenning right now. Is this normal? I'm like, it's okay.
If Josh drove, you're also lucky you have a direct clutch.
Oh, yeah.
Forward clutch. Forward.
I'm pretty sure you smoked them.
Okay, this one's pretty funny. This is from Troy Bain. One day ago, and it's edited, so I don't know what his original comment was, but it said, between the turbine wheel and now the piston, I think the truck is going to have to be renamed Parts Cannon. Josh, how do you respond to that?
It's actually not a bad idea.
I
That is a good
definitely
one.
like where you're going
Yeah.
with that. It's like the parts launcher. Like,
Yeah.
I could see that.
I'm just trying to keep people entertained during COVID. You know, everybody's staying home. There's no competitions.
We are
We're
here
bringing
to
the
entertain.
competition to your living room.
Oh, man, this is another one. Rusty Betty. These guys need to watch some videos from Banks. There's a lot of Banks lovers here that have seen this engine, this blow up. Because most Cummins engines that are used in the Dodge Ram trucks, now some of the Cummins engines used in the Dodge Ram trucks are okay, but most used in the Dodge Ram trucks have an overheating issue because of a lack of a proper engine cooling system. Man, you just overheated it, Josh.
I will say our engine cooling system is a garden hose in the radiator for like a minute and a half between pulls.
We didn't put that in the video.
It does pretty good.
And I mean, realistically, on the data logger that we had, the intake air temps were not getting that hot. I think it was like 140 at the end of the run.
Yeah.
It really was not getting that hot. Between that huge upgraded intercooler we have,
And the fact it was full of water.
yeah, the water getting sprayed on it and the fan pulling through it, it was actually
It does really good.
pretty solid on the cooling system. But I appreciate everybody's concern.
Yeah.
It's very
It's really cool though. You can watch the
steam.
passenger side of the intercooler start to steam when it gets hot, but the driver's side is just nice and cool still.
Yes, sir.
All right, this is from Carl Jensen with a K. It says, lean for a split second when on the bottle. You can tell by the smoke. Probably needed a bigger fuel pump. When feeding oxidizer and one runs out of fuel, oxidizer goes looking for something else to eat, like engine. Makes it nice and soft and yummy. Then the motor pukes itself. Now, Carl, half of the people say that the tuning was crap and too rich. Look at Gale. And you're at the other end saying that we were too lean. Come on, guys. You got to decide which side. Are you either a Gale fan or you're
A horsepower fan.
a horsepower fan? Wait,
You
that's
can't have
mean.
both.
You can't say that.
Yeah, sorry.
Come
Sorry,
on.
no, a big horsepower fan.
Come on. We know 10 years ago Gale had all the dragster diesel records for 1 year.
You know, when you got 50-pound nitrous bottles in your trailer, you can make things happen.
You know what they say? Those that can't do teach.
Oh. No, for real, Carl, you can go really lean. In fact, the exhaust temps start coming down when you go super lean. Some of the top racers, they have a little puff of smoke when they're spooling up, and they just pour the nitrous down the back half of the drag strip. When
With a $15,000 standalone Bosch ECU to boot.
that's doing all that.
Yes.
So there's been lots of testing, but you can go very lean. In fact, diesels are designed to run lean as an engine to begin with. So, yeah, it really wasn't lean.
The only other thing to point out, though, is everybody preaches about lean diesels. The other thing lean causes is a lot of NOx. So if you really cared about the environment, you got to find that sweet balance between NOx and soot.
Yeah, that's what
We're
we're
going to
trying
get
to do.
scientific here, and I'm getting called a retard.
Yeah,
Let's get the facts out here.
let's get it out straight. All right, this is from Brian. Brian says, one thing's for sure, you do not have the AF ratio anywhere close. AF ratio, air fuel ratio. 1,000+ horsepower isn't the only goal. Was that your goal, 1,000 horsepower?
No, it wasn't. It was 2,000.
Quite a bit higher.
2,000.
Well, so 1,000 horsepower is not the only goal. Get to 1,000 horsepower and hold it there while you take a long lunch. That's power anyone can use. Something tells me Brian has not been in a 1,000 horsepower truck. Oh, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say
you done it?
I've done it's been 1,000 for a couple months. It's just been solid, dailying it to work every day. It's great.
While you go to lunch?
Yeah.
Dude, done.
Dude, you hop straight on the limiter. Cold engine.
Hey, I got one more good one.
I don't take my time.
Okay, guys, this comment really made me laugh. This is from the UK. It says
yeah,
Suffolk
this guy's
East. He
awesome.
said, sorry, wrong engine to start with, blah, 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 insufficient redundancy at the end. He said, there's no replacement for displacement. As we,
Shit, don't have to sell
MTU, factory trained engineers like to say, the 12V400 series C62, whatever, he goes off saying how it'll do 2,000 horsepower all day long. And someone at Power Driven must be a smart aleck, and they commented and they said, what did they say? They said, interesting point, just 2 questions. How much does a 4000 series C21 weigh? I'll give you a hint. It's more than the whole truck. 2, how much weight will a 2005 Dodge Ram safely carry up front in a quarter-mile racing?
30, 40,000 pounds? Weird.
No, so although, yes, those big engines are awesome, they make big power for a long time, that's a totally different sport. That's like the guys that compare their 15-liter over-the-road semi and go, man, I make torque, I make horsepower all day long. And they make 500 horsepower and 1,300 foot-pounds to the tire. And that is a lot to sustain. These trucks cannot do that all day. They'll blow up the rear end, they'll overheat. But on a short burst, they're awesome. These little 6.7 Cummins, I'll tell you, we have an N14 Cummins, and half of the pickup trucks here at the shop put that thing to shame when we strap it on the dyno.
All of them do. Yeah, all of them do.
But when we're hauling 60,000 pounds, that semi puts all of the pickup trucks at the shop to shame. So depends on what you're doing. So Mr. MTU, great comment, made us laugh. I hope you weren't serious about putting that in a pickup.
No, dude, send us one of those engines. We'll try it out. Oh yeah, just ship it
Yeah,
on
tell
over.
MTU to send us one.
Send it over.
We'll put it in. We'll see if the front axle will carry it, the tires.
All right, I got one here. Or you guys are okay. This is this one right here. Ashcan Surratt. Call Gail Banks. Did you forget to call Gail?
I did.
Did you get any tuning advice?
I didn't.
Do you got his number?
Gail?
Yeah, Gail's number.
I have Jay as right-hand man's number, so I could potentially get through
Hey,
Gail.
I got it. 1-800-NO-POWER.
Does that actually work?
That's actually would work too, because it's
The right
5
number?
letters, 2 letters, 7.
No, Gail really is a great guy. We're
Yeah,
not
when
trying to bash
when
Gail.
I've talked to Gail, I've actually enjoyed our conversations.
I was
Well,
actually looking forward to Diesel Power Challenge because I was really hoping he'd come over and strike up a casual conversation.
I
with me.
would love to
You
put a
got the
data
logger,
monster
too.
on my Good Times truck just to because I would destroy anybody in air density. I mean, it'd be such a brutal. I'd kill him.
Jeez.
I mean, I can do the calcs myself. I already know it. But you
Yeah,
know,
but Gail's mind was blown when he's looking at the Monster Mutt truck or some of these Duramaxes, and it's just like, yeah, we're jamming 200 pounds of boost. And I know Gail hates the word boost, and he wants to talk about, manifold air density, but that's 200 pounds of boost through a high flow head, super high flow intake at, what are we getting, 90, 100,
100 degrees, 100
intake?
degrees.
He would be proud though. We have interstage cooling,
We do
Yes.
have
and that would make
I've
him proud.
actually had that on everything I've
wheels
ever
just-
done.
Wait, you figured out interstage cooling
All by,
without watching a
all
Banks
by
video?
myself years ago. The first turbo
would've
kit I
thought?
ever did, I did that.
That's impressive.
Yeah, I ran some numbers, and it's obvious. Yes, if you have room in your truck and the ability to fabricate, I highly recommend it. It is not something that fits very easily, though, so just be ready for that.
It's also pretty heavy.
Very true. All right, this is what happens. This is Vince Nagy. Nagy. Last name's Nagy. This is great. This is what happens. You push and push and push and do not know what you're doing. Diesel tuning is not only fuel and air pressure. But he didn't give us the answer. He told us what it's not. Well, what is it, Vince? If it's not fuel and air pressure, give me the dang answer. Come on, man.
Come on, man.
these are real facts. Right
You
now.
know, the guy who points out what's wrong, that's the guy you don't care about. Give me the answer, Vince. Come
Well,
on.
it's too much smoke. Like people are giving us the answer.
Too much smoke.
Actually,
I would just
it's
like to
also too
point
lean
out that
at the
too
same
much
time.
smoke is like literally a quarter of those injectors.
Oh, yeah.
It's just so not enough
Those
turbo.
injectors are designed for triple turbos and a large nitrous system.
Yeah,
How
I
many
think
kits are you running?
I have 4 on stealthy
4 kits
standby.
and triple turbos. And that was a single turbo and a small jet.
Single stage.
Yeah, we were gonna hit it nice and soft with the
This is
single
still
first.
a break-in run.
Yes.
Yeah.
We weren't like trying to like do something massive here. Just that's when it gave up.
Yep.
So yeah, the smoke needs about 2 more turbos and about 4 more kits of nitrous, as it was designed for. So all the people hating on the smoke, this was the break-in run. So anyway, moving on.
I got one. All right, guys. This is from Charles Green, spelled with an E. Greeny. Green. He said, power strokes don't choke. So obviously he's a power joke. What do you call it?
Power stroke.
He's
It's a
power
stroke.
It's called a power stroke.
called a
power stroke. He's a power stroke fan. He said, had bought an 04 Cummins, blue head gasket after a month of purchase, now in 7.3. Way more better.
I have one
Some-
comment. Name one Power Stroke that's done 2,000 horsepower on a chassis dyno. Just one. I'll give you the answer. There hasn't been a single one.
Okay, let's go to UCC. How many? There's been 3 years. Is it 3 or 4 years?
4
UCC.
years.
4 years
UCC?
competition.
4 years competition.
So there's 3 events every year. There's 12 events. How many have been won by our Power Stroke? There were what for 12?
Like I think,
One.
I think Rudy's won the drag strip one time.
But that wasn't a Power Stroke. That was a Cummins in there. Oh no, that
No,
was
he's got a Power Stroke.
6'4" to boot.
Okay,
too.
so
In
he
a
won a
profe-
drag race,
in a
so
profe-
one.
so they're 1 for 12,
Yeah.
and so the rest. So Cummins is 11 for 12. I don't think a Duramax has won anything. They've never won a single event that I'm aware of.
I take that back. The fireball contest was won by Duramax.
Yes, it was.
But everyone
Dirty
came
Hooker.
Give him credit where credit is due. That guy.
He won the fireball contest. I've never seen a fireball that big before.
But not knocking the Power Stroke crowd. I'm just
No.
saying that there's a reason why.
Yeah, they're great for.
You make it to work. Eventually.
Some smart aleck again at Power Driven responded and he said the 7.3 is a fine engine if you plan to stay in the sub 500 rear wheel horsepower range. So have fun below 500 horsepower. It's a fine engine. It really is at that power level. Runs
All right.
great.
I'm gonna have Josh read this one. Edit where it's appropriate, please. It's so long. It's just so beautiful. Keep the mic over there. So
All right. This is from Sam Timo. That's what happens when you overfuel a diesel. The unburnt fuel stays in the chamber, and for the next combustion cycle, it'll have more air and fuel due to exhaust gases not being expelled properly.
Time out. Stop there. All the factories are idiots. How is all these EGR trucks not just blowing the crap up? I mean, every single truck out there has exhaust and they left over. They should all be blowing up. That's my only thing. Stupid factory people. Engineers are
That's
morons.
because it's going back in the intake. So the engine thinks it's
Oh,
intake,
as long as it
so
comes to the
it's
intake.
fine. It
So
makes
if
lots
it,
of
if
sense.
it makes a circle, it's okay. But if it stays near, oh, gotcha.
It
Didn't
would blow up for sure.
Cummins used to do that the cam itself though? Like,
Oh.
Yeah.
no, okay.
Well, it doesn't have this cam.
Oh, right.
So,
you-
yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
got it.
Oh yeah, Euro 5 came with a factory cam that
That did that.
recirculated the
Poisoned
exhaust.
the- yeah.
It literally kept it in the
Yeah,
chamber. But
poisoned it.
It was
Yeah.
designed by Cummins like engineers.
So that's why it didn't blow up. And that's okay. Continue on. This is a long bow. He's like a quarter of the way through.
And then to add nitrous on top of that, you're just asking for it to blow up. Leaner is better anyways, and if that's stock fuel, well, whoever they sent it to get tuned by is retarded and is thinking petrols. Go and listen to Banks, the people who hit 1,000 horsepower without smoke, 1 turbo, and no intercooler on a stock.
Wait, stop. Everyone says Gale doesn't make smoke. I have never once seen a camera angle of Gale's exhaust stack when he's dynoing this Duramax. Do you think it's possible that it smokes a little bit before the turbo's fully spooled and he doesn't want to try to edit it out, so he strategically does not show the exhaust out of that engine he's dynoing indoors?
And he does have an intercooler. It's
he does
air
have
to
it.
water on that truck.
Which
And then
helps immensely.
the other thing too.
No, it doesn't. It only increases the turbo efficiency like
A lot.
70% or whatever. I mean, watch his videos. He'll tell you what it gains in density from that.
I love air to water.
Air to
Continue
water is
on.
awesome.
All right. Now, if you come after me, fuel is how tune. No, if you think that and you try to build a diesel, it'll work for about 3 to 6 months, if that. And then one day you'll think about putting more boost in and blow the bleep up from overcompression on one of the cycles. And yes, a diesel can get overcompressed. It's just very bleep hard to do.
I've had mine at 200 psi. Over.
226, I think.
26.
Yeah, it's
Actually,
right there.
ever since it's been that high, it's never blown up.
No.
The one time it blew up was at 160.
Yep.
So apparently you fixed it. You
By-
fixed it by
I need a little
adding.
more pressure.
It needed 65 more pounds of boost, is what we figured out.
Let's have Josh talk to the tuning because he said it was tuned by a retard. So talk to us about what the tuning was on this actual run and how you really
Wait, you need to say that again.
yeah, talk to us about how the tuning was on that run and how you really were super aggressive and just blew the crap out of it because you just give it everything.
You just went way too hard, way too fast.
All right. 2005 truck has an 848 ECM. It's tuned with MM3. We're able to do custom files. That's the only platform really that we can use other than HP tuners. So we have custom tuning. We there's a bunch of different ways to talk about it, but basically you have injection timing, you have duration, and then you have MPa, which is your micropascals. I don't know, MPa, and that's
your pressure.
Yeah, your pressure. So on that run, we had 24 degrees of injection timing, and that was ramped out at 3,000 RPM. So from trying to spool, we were at negative timing, and then it ramps into 24 degrees.
Wait a minute. I got a question. Why would you go negative timing when you're trying to spool a turbo?
Because it really helps at high altitude.
It helps the turbo get light, but you're an idiot. Why would you do that?
That's a good question.
Folks, that is why common rails spool stuff better than 12 hours, because they have variable timing.
All right,
but anyway, continue.
And then we have the boost reference fueling. So a lot of it on a 05, because it's so rudimentary in the instruments we have, you're doing a lot off the MAP sensor, which would be the manifold air pressure. And then from there, we're also looking at the intake temps, and it calculates a duration and a pressure. So on that run, we were doing, it was supposed to be 890 US or microseconds, and we were at 850 microseconds. So we weren't even at full duration, and rail pressure on this setup was right around 22,000 PSI. We have the ability to go to 29,000. It is a 5.9 truck, but we have 6.7 rail, 6.7 pumps. We have a modified rail pressure sensor. We have 6.7 tubes, and then the injectors from Dynamite Diesel have been retrofitted. I'm not exactly sure how they do it, but it does have a higher rating on the inner seals, so it can take that higher rail pressure, because you pick up a lot of power when you increase that rail pressure. So realistically, we're running that setup about 33 to 40% of its capability. It's diminishing returns though. So that system was designed for 2,400 horsepower to a chassis roller. The injectors, the pumps, the rail. We have 2 low pressure lift pumps feeding each pump individually.
Wait, so you didn't run out of fuel then?
No, not even close.
Wait, so how much do these low pressure fuel pumps flow? Like
200 gallons per hour. I have 2 of them.
You have 200 gallons per hour. Now to keep that in mind, that truck that Gale is playing with, if he has a factory lift pump, I don't know what he has on there, I haven't watched close enough. The factory lift pump on that Duramax, what do you think it is? 150 gallons per hour, 130,
yeah, that'd
120.
I'd say
so.
If
Yes,
you
we
upgraded
didn't
it,
have enough pump on there, but we have more than twice as much pump as Gale's running at 1,000. But
I got half
our
as
goal
much
is
pump as you do.
1,000 horsepower.
What is your goal, Josh?
our goal was 2,000 horsepower, and we put a little fudge factor in there. I told Lenny, I was like, well, if 2,000 comes a little easy, we want to leave a little bit in there, so he did a little bit more work to him. And yeah, I mean, those things idled. Of all the modified common rail injectors that I've ever bought or been around this last year, 2 years, they bought a brand new machine. I mean, those things idled like factory. They fired right up. They were really, really clean for the size it was.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And I tell you,
What they're
listening
doing.
to all that, I think, man, why'd you redneck it so much? I mean, engineer something probable. I mean, my gosh, that sounds. Do you know anything about common rails, Josh?
No, nothing. Absolutely nothing.
It's like,
There's
Papa, I need
there was so
tuna.
much thought put into this build and so much time. This was built right. Like we just
And so
we had
many
a-
leaders, I mean, in the
Yeah,
industry.
yes,
I mean, when you think about it, we had Jeremy Wagler on board.
doesn't know anything.
We had Dynamite Diesel on board, which
Never
is
done
the
anything.
current record holder for a chassis
Wait,
dyno.
wait, let's just say both of those have made more power than Gale has with the diesel. I don't know about Gale's gas stuff. He's maybe done some, but for the diesel, both of those companies have made more power than Gale ever has. The diesel. Keep going. Who else
We
you got
have
involved?
D&J Precision
D&J
Machine.
makes more power than Gale. Has broken all of Gale's records with his engines in race trucks.
We had Fleece
He doesn't know
Performance.
anything either.
Fleece
Fleet-
Performance Engineering is
Oh,
on
what
there.
they ever done.
What's Fleece ever done? I think they have 4 engine
Fleece
dynos
who?
in their facility. They test stuff all the time. They've also
don't know anything.
we had Trend Performance.
Oh,
on some of it.
tool steel stuff and
Oh.
DLC coatings. Come on, come on.
We had Power Driven Diesel backing the engine.
Okay, now I can change.
power driven. Maybe that's where you went wrong.
Do you work here?
Yeah.
No, there's your problem.
Oh, wow.
I mean, we had,
No, Myers our resident genius. I'm joking.
we had Kenny's pulling girdle. I mean, you
Oh,
think about
Kenny's
it.
yeah, he's never done anything to slip pull.
Yeah.
He doesn't know anything. My gosh,
Talking about blowing black smoke and
literally
not making
we
any
have
power.
we have collaborated with some of the biggest minds in the world for this stuff. Like
And to be fair, a lot of them thought we were crazy. Like,
Yeah.
there's a lot of people that thought this was like a crazy idea. But I'm not.
cool.
I'm not giving up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everybody that I've worked with has been super helpful trying to get us there.
I mean, honestly, people are bashing Hamilton on the deal. I mean, our solid block from Hamilton has made more power than anything we've ever made. At UCC, all of the top diesels last year, first top 3 finishers, they all had solid Hamilton blocks. So there's no doubt that some of the blocks and stuff he's made are the undisputed
And the
kings right
camshafts,
now.
I mean,
Yeah.
camshafts.
A lot of the top guys are running his camshaft, so it's not that the Hamilton is not a good company either. Although this one failure was, unfortunate.
Failures
It happens.
happen.
Let's also talk about the 1,650 horsepower you made months ago.
1683. Don't ever sell me short.
Okay, sorry. Let's round it. 1,700
Ever.
horsepower you made a couple
Yeah.
months ago. Hamilton block.
And that
Same
was
turbo
his-
setup. Like it was the exact same setup, just a little bit bigger injector and a different engine. And it's just
Yeah, his
Happens.
standard block lasted well longer than the comp for you.
Yeah.
And so that was like pretty surprising how much that thing actually took. So anyway, we know Hamilton has been a lot of grief for this, and anyway, just I'm keeping his blocks for my engine. I mean, I'm not changing.
No, and I would still. I mean,
Yeah, there's parts we use.
we sell his stuff every day that ends in Y.
All right, so we have a couple really good zingers here from Joe Nasty. First one, capable 2,000 HP engine, blows up at 1,300. His very next comment, like back to back, so he had to do this close. He said, blame everybody but yourselves.
I blame us.
I did it. Sorry.
Freaking Myer.
It was
a late
us.
Myrrh.
No excuses.
Do we have anything hateful to say back to Joe? I don't think I should say that. I was a little
Thank
heated.
you for enlightening us.
Thanks, Joe. Thanks for your comments.
I would just like to, for the record, if I would have screwed something up, I feel like my track record has spoken for itself. I probably would have owned up to it.
Josh has built a lot of engines. He's not a new engine builder. I mean, your last engine did way more than it ever should have in that stock block. I mean, so yeah, I don't. It just happens. I mean, I've blown up stuff. We've all blown up stuff, and congratulations on joining the club of massive blowups.
I mean, when you have a dyno at work, like, this is bound to happen.
Yes, you're gonna play. So the reality is I'd say 95% or more of the comments are super cool.
Yeah.
Guys are very positive. They understand. But there's enough comments here that I thought, dude, we got some fun stuff here. We should make a video, talk to some of these guys, and you know, I guess we need to go learn from Gale. I mean, obviously, there's a lot of people who know what we know what we're doing. We need to go. We need to go shoot for 1,000 crank horsepower. Live the dream.
Dude, I couldn't even envision. I mean, my tow truck makes more
Oh, yeah.
horsepower than
I guarantee
1,000 crank power.
I guarantee you,
That thing is so
tow
clean.
truck makes
It's
1,000
crazy.
crank.
And dude, that would be so.
I mean,
lame.
guys, I'm not quite there. My daily driver 98 12 valve with 360,000 miles on the clock with the original OEM engine Cummins built.
Stock bottom end.
I mean, literally have not touched his bottom end. It's just got some head studs in it. I think the last dyno pull was 720 to the rear wheel. So I'm 80 horsepower short of where Gale's at with that brand new modern engine with my 360,000 mile OEM Cummins 12 valve dinosaur block. I mean, guys, cutting edge technology there.
Honestly, I didn't know that you did 720. That means you're 13 behind Toe Nasty. That makes me happy.
Brutal.
I'm just trying to
You
figure
hear
out how it's a
that?
daily
Employees
driver.
make more
I'm
than
just
the
trying to
boss.
figure out how it's a daily driver.
It's been sitting in the parking lot for a couple months. It's all right.
It's on the to-do list.
All right, is there anything we missed? Any good
There's a good one. What does all the water it was pushing out mean? They hose down the intercooler between runs, or the charge air cooler, if you're going to be correct. Because
if you want to be correct.
the after
Between
cooler.
stages. That's an after
Well,
cooler.
there's a stage of turbo and there's a stage of
But it gets
so
heat
it's right
soaked
there.
because there's not a good fan. But guess what? Water pulls heat out of it way faster than air. And the guys who, because they've spent a lot of time on the chassis down, have learned that garden hose does the trick.
Yeah, it cools down the intake time super quick. And we thought, like, oh, we blew a head gasket. Then I looked and it was all cold. So it's like, oh.
And don't
That
worry,
was
we're in
just
a
me.
desert. We're just recharging the aquifer. Don't worry about it, the water. No, really, we are. They put water to recharge the aquifer, so we're just helping the city.
Yeah, they're pointless.
Yeah, I really helped the city when I dumped all that oil all over the concrete.
Dude,
No,
We scooped that up,
He
put it in the
scooped
you did
it
a
up
great
and
job
mopped
cleaning
I
it
it
up.
actually did, yeah. By the way, I did replace the
can confirm. The bag of kitty litter.
Kitty
Oh,
litter,
that's
yes.
right.
Kitty
All right,
litter is
one
right
more
there.
good comment here. This is from Old Blue 82. What does Hamilton think about this failure? Be honest, Hamilton surprised us and showed up today. Took some pictures, took some measurements. We haven't heard his final analysis, but he did actually show up. So shows he cares.
Yeah.
At least cares to see what broke. You know, to what end we don't know. Power Driven doesn't have any ill will towards Hamilton. Josh might still be a little sore, but you know he is the one that's out all the cash. That's why we're trying to help him out with code
Josh.
JOSH. Save 2.5% between now and the end of August. It's August right now, so you've got about a couple weeks to get that done.
If you guys don't know what that is, we're giving 2.5% of every sale that uses that code to Josh. So 2.5% savings to you, and Power Driven Diesel is going to match that to Josh, so we can get another engine built right away. And yeah, he's a big competitor here, and he's a big part of our racing program. So we're helping him out, and if you want to help him out, that'd be great. So use promo code Josh at checkout, and yeah, help me out a little bit. Go ahead, Josh.
And I saw a few comments saying that 2.5 was kind of not a lot, stuff like that. I just would like to point out that they offered it. Anything helps, and they didn't have to do anything. They had literally no skin in the game. I got all my own parts, did all my own research. They didn't owe me a thing. So just the fact that they doing it 2.5%, like, I'm extremely grateful. And anybody that uses the coupon code or calls in, I really do appreciate it. But please don't think that they're giving me the raw end of the deal. They didn't have to do anything. They're not paying me to say this. Like, they did it just to keep me going, and that I'm really grateful for. So thank you guys.
This wasn't supposed to be a touchy, emotional thing, but it was a little bit.
It's okay. It's a good vibe to have.
Hey,
Appreciate it.
Yeah, you're welcome. It's awesome.
There are a few keyboard warriors I saw that said we should be giving him 15%.
Man,
Guys, if you think there's 15% margin
On
in
everything.
the stuff we're selling, you're living a pipe dream, man.
Yeah.
Keep in mind, if we're giving you 2.5 and we're giving Josh 2.5, we're giving 5% off. There ain't much meat left on that bone, man. We got to pay this guy to stay here. We're gonna lose all our employees. So,
Anyway.
enough of that.
So, yes, that's after hours. It's getting late. I got to go home and practice front flips with my daughter. She just called me a little while. She's going to do front flips now. It's pretty exciting. So, anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I know it's a little bit long. I hope it was entertaining. We had a lot of fun making it. Hit that like button, subscribe it, share it, do all that good stuff. If you would, we'd appreciate it. Get this channel bigger.
And if you have anything hateful to say about us or Gail Banks, comment below. We'd love to read your comments. Maybe we'll do a response to our response video. And who knows, maybe Gail will do a response to this video to tell us about his
Airfield
diesel achievements in racing. And Gail, we hope to see that dragster out. You promised me at SEMA
how many years?
3 years ago that you were going to come take that record back from Scheid. And then Wade Moody broke it. And then Wade sold his dragster and then beat your record with his pro stock truck. And then he got rid of that and he got into that truck with Corey Willis, that car. So I'm like, dude, you're like 3 generations of race cars behind these guys now. I was like, come on, Gail. Show us what you're made of. We'd love to see it, dude. You don't got a lot of years left in your life. Show us what you can do at the racetrack. We'd love to see it. Thanks.
I'm taking bets on who lives longer, Gail or Will. This guy. That's funny.
Pretty
All right,
factual.
guys. Thanks a lot. We'll see you next time.